Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and we're dealing with a seasonal championship. This one's called Toys Under the Tree, and we're going to be in S1 class track toys, so not extreme track toys that were in the previous seasonal championship, but they're still hardly a slow class of car. So yeah, and we're getting there in the AMC Javelin AMX, which is the current car in the Festival Paris to get for 20 points. So
in 400 yards. Turn right.
Doing this championship will obviously give you a quarter of those points, so yeah, and this is well worth getting. It's not the best muscle car going, but
turn right.
It's certainly one of the more unique ones in terms of how it looks, especially when it comes to the rear and those flared wheel arches that it's got going on and all that lot. Oh dear. The granddaddy of the muscle car there hitting me right in the face. Right, so let's get to this championship, see where we're going to be racing and what we're going to be racing in. It certainly won't be this. So let's take a look.
You have arrived at your destination.
So we're going to the beach, going up near the city, and yeah, we're in the desert at the moment. So yeah. So yeah, we've got a nice variety of cars to choose from, to be honest. We've got the Aston Martin Vantage GT12, the BAC Mono, BMW M4 GTS, which isn't really all that much better than the standard M4, then the Corvette ZR1, the last of the ones with the engine up front instead of in the middle, and then the Camaro, which I really rather enjoy. Then we've got the new Urban Rebel concept, which I'll definitely be using in this championship. Then we've got a pair of Vipers, the D8 GTO, a couple of Ferraris, the Mustang Mach-E, which doesn't have the highest of top speeds, it's about 160, but it's extremely quick at getting there. And then we've got the Shelby GT350R and the Supervan, then the Expo, then the Huracan Performante, which is probably one of the more ordinary cars here, then the 311 from Lotus, a pair of McLarens, a GTR Nismo, which is fantastic, Noble M400, which is also fantastic, a brace of Porsches there, all of them with big rear wings, as you can see, and plenty of power going as well, at least 500 horsepower or thereabouts. And yeah, then finally the Vool 05 RR. So yeah, like I said, we're going to go out in the Urban Rebel first. It is the newest car here to be added to the game, and even though, like the Mustang Mach-E, it doesn't have the highest of top speeds, it's really rather good at getting there, and the handling and braking is really rather superb as well. So yeah, and despite only having 429 horsepower, it's pretty quick, especially given, you know, it's an electric car. You know, electric cars typically, the less power you have, even less the top speed is usually as well. So it's obviously the case for any car really, but obviously it makes even more of an impact with electric cars, which typically don't have high top speeds anyway. So you really need as much power as possible for these things. It's all about the acceleration and the continuous amount of power going and torque going on in these, which never really lets up, to be honest. Superb brakes, massive amount of downforce going on as well. What you have is one of the faster electric cars on this game. Not the fastest, obviously, because you've got way more powerful cars than this. The Rimac and the Lotus Evija, for instance, but as far as, you know, cars of this size going in this class, it's pretty damn sharpish. Especially when you're given, it's got even less power than the likes of a Porsche Taycan or Audi e-tron. But unlike those cars, this handling is spot on, and its braking is great as well. Principally because of how little in the way of weight it has. Just thanks to that carbon fibre shell wrapped around a rally cross car. And I know some people miss engine noises and stuff when they've got an electric car, but you have to basically think of this as a different kind of vehicle to drive. No, it doesn't have the engine noise, but it's got a hell of a lot else going for it as well. Ballistic acceleration, and the fact it is still really rather quite fun to drive. Satisfying to drive as well, which I find to be a highly important thing as well. It's no good having a car that is really rather loud and has a nice engine noise if it's not satisfying or fun to drive. And this is both of those things, quite frankly. Especially when you come to the more complex circuits or more complex sprint races or anything like that. And there we go, here comes the finish line. Got a country mile ahead, but ahead regardless, so yeah, we get the win in for that first race, and the Urban Rebel did really rather well there. No flaws whatsoever, no understeer, no massive oversteer, really good handling and braking, and yeah, the acceleration was really well good as well. So yeah, the only one of two or three other cars to get below the 48-second mark there. So yeah, nonetheless, let's get on to this second race and see if we can replicate this success. Right, so with the Cupra there doing us really rather well, let's take a look at what else we can be driving. So yeah, do have a nice variety of vehicles here. I think we're going to go for a Porsche though. I don't think we've taken out the 2021 911 GT3 before. And yeah, it's a fairly solid car all round. Great engine in it, high revving, naturally aspirated flat 6, 503 horsepower, again in a vehicle that doesn't weigh all that much. It weighs 3,164 pounds, which in terms of the comparison to the Urban Rebel, that's upgraded, ignore that. Yeah, it's only a little bit more than the Urban Rebel, and yet it has more power, less torque, and obviously the engine isn't as immediate as the electric powertrain over the Urban Rebel, but yeah, it makes up for that in the fact that the handling and braking is even better, and with it being a naturally aspirated combustion engine, you know, it's not only got no turbo lag or anything like that, but obviously it's got a high rate of speed as well. So yeah, let's see what this can do. Obviously this is more of a track orientated 911 over, you know, say a turbo or a Carrera or anything like that, but still, it's no less going to have any issues on this circuit, even though obviously it's a road circuit. It's not going to hopefully throw up any issues for this track car, so obviously at the end of the day it's still on the road normally. It's just not as, probably quite as livable with as a normal 911, I imagine, especially with the handling and the suspension and the stiffness of the car being a lot more toughened up. The results are noticeable. Oh, the van trying to take us out there. I love the sound of these engines in these Porsches. So I would be surprised to be seeing this kind of engine in a future 911, to be honest. At the end of the day, new combustion engine vehicles are going to be banned in the next several years or so, so whether or not they come out with one or two more, I don't know, but it would be a shame to no longer see them, but needs must for times changing. And at the end of the day, you still have these older ones going around still for a very long time. So at the end of the day, Porsches like this are pretty much bulletproof, so it's just a black shape at the moment. I think it's a fellow Porsche, I think it's a Cayman. Albeit with a Forza wing on the back. Yes it is. Yeah, this has excellent turning as well. It's got none of the kind of bad handling up front that you'd have in older, fast Porsches, especially ones without all-wheel drive. It just turns it so nicely, it's so crisp. well balanced as well, despite the fact that that engine is still swung out right at the back. And obviously the faster you go, the more downforce you have, so it's going to handle even better the quicker you get. So like on fast corners, this feels so secure. Leaving the competition well in the dust this time round. It's not going to be a closer race this time. Unless I make an accident. Which I nearly did. Nearly jinxed myself. Oh, a little bit of understeer there, slightly faster than I needed to be, but regardless, got the win and with a lot bigger lead than last time. So yeah, that Porsche is fantastic. It's not like a lot of supercars nowadays where, you know, it's got a huge exorbitant amount of power or anything like that. It's just a very well sorted, not overly done sports car slash supercar. So yeah, highly recommend trying out that 911 if you haven't already. But yeah, it's easily one of my favourite, more modern you know, track-focused vehicles. So yeah, but yeah, more importantly, that gives us again 20 points. So we're 10 points ahead of the Cayman and 12 points ahead of the Morris Minor Forza edition, which I wouldn't consider a track toy to be honest, but regardless, it is in third place. So yeah, let's get on to the third and final race and see if we can cap this off with a triple win. Right, so the 911 did really well there, got us a massive lead over the second place. So yeah, let's go for something a little bit different. We've had rear engine, rear wheel drive, we've had all wheel drive electric. So now, well, we could go all wheel drive front engined, or we could go rear wheel drive mid engined. I do really rather like the Noble. It's a fantastic car, doesn't weigh anything at all, and yet it's got 425 horsepower, nearly as much as the Urban Rebel, and yet weighs nearly £1,000 less. Noble. Doesn't help that I can never remember what cars we've used in previous championships in this kind of class before, to be honest. Pretty sure we've used the Nissan before. We'll go with the Noble. It's, again, a really rather fantastic handling car. Braking isn't quite as good because it's obviously quite an old car. But yeah, still, can't get over the fact that it has 425 horsepower and not much in the way of weight from its 3-litre turbocharged V6 engine. So yeah, let's see what it can do. Now the engine in this is from a Mondeo, by the way, which is a choice, I guess, but clearly they got a lot of power out of it regardless, so let's see what it can do. So, quick off the line, despite being only rear wheel drive, purely because it has so little in the way of weight. This is one of those lesser known cars that is pretty much a giant killer. Yeah, this is pretty much as fast, if not faster than, you know, your equivalent Porsche from the time, or you know, you look at a Corvette from the time or anything like that, and yeah, I guarantee this is getting up there for being as fast as, or faster. Same with the Noble M600, to be honest, as well. It's a 220-mile-an-hour car, and yet it's from a company that's made probably less than 1,000 vehicles, so it's quite ridiculous, to be honest. It does have its issues. It's got a fair bit of understeer at times, and it's hardly the most, you know, the greatest looking car ever. In terms of pure speed and handling once you do get up to speed. It's really not quite glorious. Keeping up with a Viper which has 180 extra horsepower or whatever, maybe even more. Getting off more than 200 horsepower more than us, so the fact that we're as quick as or quicker than that is pretty damn good. Shows how little rail weight this car has on its side. Oh, but it can do that. It can get a little bit twitchy. You overcook it. So it has a lot of grip, but like the older Viper, it's sure at that limit, then you really are on your tiptoes, because it's very, very, very easy to lose the grip at the limit. Catch up another Viper and the 911 that's in front, we'll have to see. It's going to be a no, unfortunately. That massive oversteer moment really did slow us down. But still, it's a podium position and it should be more than enough to keep us at the top of the championship overall. So yeah, it's not an awful car, the Noble, it's just, it takes a better driver than me to get the best out of it, quite frankly. So yeah, the Viper there was in second, and the 911 GT3 RS was in first. So yeah, but we still keep the lead by 8 points, so we've not lost a massive amount of points over what we had after the second race. And then the 911 GT3 RS is in third. So yeah, but the most important thing is, doing this championship gets you 5 points towards getting that AMC Javelin AMX, which is a really rather good muscle car from the early 70s. So yeah, highly recommend getting it if you haven't already. You haven't got much longer after this video is released to get it, but regardless, it is a worthwhile vehicle to make the effort to get into your garage. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.